Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Currently being housed at King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia, USA. Welcome to the podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening today. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about something that was brought to my attention. I think a lot of people remember the show To Catch a Predator hosted by Chris Hansen. I did watch a few episodes back in the day, though it wasn't something that, I found a whole lot of entertainment in, mainly because I was molested. I know what it's like. It's not a good feeling, and it's not something that, I enjoy talking about. It's not something that I enjoy thinking about or being reminded of, as sure most people can understand. However, I've been told about a couple of groups. You've got one here in the U.S. called DAP, or Dads Against Predators. You've got one based out of Houston called Predator Poachers. You got a UK-based duo named Dark Justice, though they stopped doing it in 2021, and you got another one in northern England called the Northwest Hebephile Hunters. Now, for those of you who don't know what To Catch a Predator is, and so on and so forth, or what these groups are doing, if you haven't seen their videos online, on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, whatnot, it's basically you have a group of guys, women, they go online to these chat rooms, and they pretend to be underage girls and boys. And they communicate with adult men who should know better than to be communicating in this manner with kids. And eventually, one thing leads to another. They want to meet up, and this guy shows up to the address. Sometimes these guys will literally get on a plane and fly to another country just to meet up with this underage person. Most times it's a local thing. And when they get there, you have this group of people that are filming it, and they confront the guy. They confront this pedophile that shows up, to have a sexual relationship, with this underage kid. They confront him. Sometimes, it's pretty funny, from what I've been told. I haven't actually, seen one of the online videos due to being in prison and, no access to the internet and what have you. And sometimes it's violent. Sometimes these predators get the living kicked out of them. And to some extent, well, hell, to a large extent, I'm okay with that. I understand this is what makes this so tough for me, because I was molested. I couldn't fight back. I couldn't resist. It was just, guy was too big, too strong, nothing I could do. So, for someone to step forth, like the Alaskan Avenger, someone to step forth like these guys, Chris Hansen and these other groups, like, I'm all for it. I applaud what they're doing. I'm all behind what they're doing because they are, to some extent, protecting children. That is a noble and righteous goal. I don't know, a lot of people might not know this about me, but I have a bit of a hero complex. Now, I'm not talking superhero. I'm not talking Superman or, the Avengers or what have you. My hero complex comes from fantasy. It comes from being the lone guy standing in the valley holding off the horde of monsters. Like, that's where, my hero thing comes from. Like, I love fantasy. It's my favorite thing to read. And the darker the fantasy, the more I like it. So, I have a soft spot for vigilantism. I think that there is a place for it. Even in our modern society, I still think sometimes that there is a call for it if it's being done by the right people for the right reasons. However, there is a downside to this, and this is what I don't think a lot of people that are doing these things, a lot of people that are watching these videos and laughing at the child molester getting his ass beat. You're taking the law into your hands. Where does it stop? For example, it's okay to protect the child. It's okay to target sexual predators. What about the illegal immigrants coming into this country? Is it okay to go down to the Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, California border and find a family crossing the border that just want to make a better life? They want to get away from the gang violence. They want to get away from, the cartel wars, the sicarios, and so on and so forth. They just want to get to a place where they can find some peace, where they can raise their family and work and, eat some good food and watch a few good movies, what have you. And you just go down there and beat the shit out of them simply because they're an illegal immigrant. And you cannot tell me that one does not lead to the other. Not in all cases. No, of course not. It's the same way with drugs. It's the same way with crime. It's the same way with porn. All of these things, it starts off small. It starts off, oh, well, this is okay. I'm not harming no one. And then the next thing you know, it grows into an addiction. And that addiction takes over your life, and you start doing shit you never would have thought possible because your addiction drives you to it. There's no such thing as a functioning alcoholic. There's no such thing as a functioning drug user. There's no such thing. Because how can you function when you've let something take over your whole life? When your life revolves around that next drink. When your life revolves around that next hit. This is coming from someone who was a rage monster. Someone who lived and died by his anger. Anger is the same way. It takes over your life. Yeah, I'm angry at child molesters. I'm angry. That pisses me off. I would love to get revenge against that dude. Hell no. Matter of fact, I won't even call it revenge. I would love to get retribution against him. I would love to meet him right now. We will find out which one of us is the weaker. And I guarantee you it ain't me. Now, you should have the desire to protect children. There's no question about it. It's just the right way to doing it, though, because eventually you're going to catch somebody that's innocent. For example, what happens if you got online and you got this guy to bite in, hook, line, and sinker? He's going to show up to this hotel or to this motel, and you have somebody else who shows up instead, and he's got a bottle of wine, he's got some flowers and whatnot, and he's actually meeting his wife there. Let's say they're role-playing, or let's say he's meeting his mistress, his girlfriend on the side, or whatever the case may be, and he gets the directions wrong. He gets the room number wrong, because let's face it, that happens all the time. And he knocks on this door, and you got a group of people in there with baseball bats, and they beat the living hell out of this dude. They cripple him, break his neck, break his back, kill him, whatever the case may be. But because he showed up to the wrong place at the wrong time, and he had nothing to do with this, do you really think they're going to be showing these videos, people, on the internet so you can see and laugh at the innocent guy getting his kicked out of him? Trust me, those videos never see the light of day. Because those guys that do that, they haul ass. And they do everything within their power to hide it. There's good and bad. Like, if you want to do something like this, by all means do it. Look, if you can expose a child molester, expose that sumbitch. But before you do it, you go to the local police and you tell them, look, this is why I want to do this. This is how I want to do this. As a matter of fact, if I was going to do something of this nature, this is exactly how I would do it. If I had a daughter or I knew someone, I would go to them and I would speak to them like, are you willing to do this? Like, have you counted the cost? And secondly, if you do agree to do this, I will personally pay for your therapy sessions every week. And yes, honey, going to therapy over this. I insist. And if I do film it and I put it online and we make money off of it, she's going to get paid for this. And it will go to pay for her therapy and so on and so forth. Then we're going to the police and we're going to talk to their little, I guess, SVU. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I think it is, but I'm not sure. It could just be the television show that I hate. And we're going to set it up with the police. That way, when we do get this person to bite and come to visit her in the hotel room, it's going to be the police there to arrest this person, to charge this person and take them in front of a jury of their peers and sentence them to prison. And if they're found guilty, as far as I'm concerned, they should be castrated. Sew it up with a little tube hanging out the bottom of it. That should be the punishment. And then they should be sent to prison. If you're going to do it right, so that, one, you take the predator off the street and you put them behind bars where they belong. Beating their ass, while it might be satisfying to you personally, while it's going to get some really good ratings and views on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, it's not doing anything to take this predator off the street. And let me tell you something, the only thing you just did is build a rage and an anger and a hurt and pain inside this person, and he's going to go take it out on young children. I have grown up in prison, juvenile and adult. I've been incarcerated since I was 11 years old. I'm 46 years old now. I know the mind of predators. Whether they just rob you, whether they'll kill you, whether they'll rape you or molest you, whether they'll con you. A predator is a predator, and I understand that mindset. Because at one point in time, I was in here kicking up in people's cells, robbing them for their stuff because I had nothing, and I had no one to help me. If you don't do it legally, if you don't have the police involved from the beginning, it doesn't matter, people. If you film this, you get the evidence, you have recordings of everything, and then you give it to the police. It doesn't matter because you illegally obtained that evidence, and it could be tainted. Therefore, it will not be admissible in court. The prosecuting attorney, the judge, they cannot use this evidence in court. Any piece of no good, lazy-ass defense attorney can easily get that evidence thrown out of court, and it'll take him less than 5 minutes to do it. And then that predator...
You have 1 minute remaining.
Then that predator goes back on the street. And he's going to be extremely careful about that. He's going to switch up his mode of operations, and a lot of children are going to get hurt over it. And I haven't even touched on what happens if it's somebody innocent, and they're there for it. People, y'all got to start thinking. You got to look beyond your emotions and how you feel. Protect the child at all costs. I'm all for that. But be smart about it so you actually remove the threat permanently instead of just pissing them off to cause more damage. Think about it.
I appreciate you folks listening to me. Remember, if you want to leave some feedback on the show or ask a question or whatnot, again, that number inside the continental U.S. is 1-888-524-1932. Anyone outside the U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1. Works just the same. You can also visit me my website at redonionrandy.com or find me on X at redonionrandy. You don't have to. But if you want to, wherever you listen to my podcast, go on and give me some stars, or whatever is appropriate for that platform. I'll take whatever you can give me and be damn grateful for it. But, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the podcast. I'm trying to reach more people. I'm trying to get my voice out there to help people. The crazy thing is I actually am helping people. And in the process, I'm helping myself. So do what you can. And don't forget, I got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and maybe some other merch coming soon. You can find the link on the website, redonionrandy.com. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for using GTL.